Brodes Media.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Before we tackle the drama, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up button as well. Over on Twitter, follow me at Brodes81. Some great content thrown your way there. And other than that, just enjoy the show. I want to thank you all so much for the great support. I love you. You're the best. And enjoy the drama. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. This Ben Simmons drama continued all day long. We took 4 hours straight of nonstop calls on the Fanatic today of people just outraged, and I also heard some losers as well that actually believe that Ben Simmons isn't a problem, that the Sixers and the fans and the media were the ones that screwed this up, which just blows my mind. I had one caller, I couldn't believe it. He truly tried to convince me the reasons why the Sixers lost in Game 7 against the Atlanta Hawks was because of Joel Embiid's turnovers and Tobias Harris coming up small. While Tobias Harris did miss some bunnies and it wasn't the best version of him, and while Joel Embiid did turn the rock over, let's not act as if this isn't one big snowball effect, because the guy who is supposed to run your offense and be your floor general and be the guy that sets everyone up was invisible, who evaporated and did nothing but stand underneath the basket. Please, I mean, how can you be so pathetic and so dumb when analyzing why Ben Simmons causes so many problems to this offense? It is so damn obvious. So, let's get into what Joel Embiid had to say. That's where we will begin this show. So I'm sure everybody has seen it at this point, but I will read you the tweets by Joel today. I haven't forgotten, but 2 years ago I got booed. People in Philly wanted me to be traded. I even shushed them. Only the real ones didn't, but I just put the work in that offseason to be better because I knew I wasn't playing up to my potential. Philly fans, y'all also got to be better. This has nothing to do with the fans. This has everything to do with the individual himself not growing as a professional athlete. And Joel, what you said right here is the problem. I just put the work in that offseason to be better because I knew I wasn't playing up to my potential. Exactly. Ben Simmons has more potential. We saw that you had more potential. You dug in, you dove in, you committed, and you became a stud, an MVP caliber player, while Ben Simmons does not do that. You're literally telling us why we did it. You showed us why we did it, and we got the results that we were looking for. That's okay as fans to do that to players because we do it. It's a respect thing. Joel, we know you're damn good. We know you could dominate. So we hold you to a high standard. Ben, we know you can dominate if you add to your game. We know the potential. That's why we are so hard on you. We're not asking Furkan Korkmaz to become Ray Allen or Steph Curry or one of the best shooters to ever live. We're not putting these crazy expectations on someone. You have it in you. You're just not giving it your all and putting it out there to the basketball world. That's why we're so frustrated. He continues to for clarity, I love the criticism. I love when I'm told I can't do something. It makes me work harder to prove everybody wrong. But not everybody is built like that. Exactly. You should be, though, as a $30 million a year type of player. You should be, though, when you are rated an all-star every single year by your peers. You should, though, when we're talking about a simple task like shooting a basketball as an NBA basketball player. I can't get over this national story, right? How about Chris Broussard? And we know where Chris Broussard's getting his information. It's Clutch Sports. It's Rich Paul. So the national tide of this all is going to be negative towards Philadelphia because, well, Clutch Sports wants to get involved and to push a certain narrative, just like Daryl Morey and the 76ers are trying to push their said narrative as well. He said that Ben Simmons would play for any other organization in the entire league except for the 76ers because the organization did him wrong with the growth, with development. Ben, come on, man. Come on. This is getting outrageous. Starting to blame everybody, pointing the fingers at every single person except for yourself. How is that possible? Maybe it's just the way he grew up. His family, his father, everyone involved growing up. You're the prince. You're the next best one. You're going to be great. You can never do anything wrong. You're bigger than everybody else. You have a skill set in high school and in college that can dominate some of the players in front of you because of the way you are physically. But once you get to the NBA, you have a lot of guys that are built physically, Ben. You have a lot of guys that have a big body that can play you tough, Ben. And quite frankly, they don't even have to do that. Why? Because they can sag 6 feet off of you and just wait towards the paint area, which you're not going to drive by anyway when it's the fourth quarter of a playoff game, when you need your primary ball handler to actually be aggressive and look at the rim to score the damn basketball. Please. I had another caller try to bring up how, you don't have to score to dominate. You can do it in other ways. Look at Draymond Green. Look at Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman would grab how many boards a game? And he actually came into the league scoring more points, and then as he grew into his role, it was all about the boards. My counter to that is, you're right, there are guys who thrive in an area. They're also not the number one or number two guys. Draymond Green is what, the fourth on a championship team, if not the fifth? Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green. Oh, let's get to Dennis Rodman. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. So you're telling me Ben Simmons is the fourth guy on a team? Well, he's a $30 million man on a max contract who should be significantly better than a fourth or fifth option on an NBA championship team. And the difference is, you know what? Ben Simmons just did not play. He didn't even play. Let me know when Dennis Rodman just flat out evaporated into the world. Let me know when Danny Green, and throughout like an entire series, an entire playoff run. Yeah, maybe he has a bad game. Maybe he has a tougher day at the office. Ben Simmons wasn't even playing the sport of basketball anymore. Let me know the last time Draymond Green just didn't bring his energy and didn't bring that focus and didn't bring his intangibles that he brings to that damn basketball team with his passionate heart. He plays tough 1,000% of the time, and that's what he brings. He brings that motivation to the rest of his team because he's always bringing the heart. He's always bringing the juice. Dennis Rodman's always bringing the heart on the glass. You know what Ben Simmons is doing? Zero heart. And by the way, first overall pick compared to when Draymond Green was selected. By the way, Dennis Rodman wasn't a first overall pick. And don't tell me that you can't blame the player for where they got drafted. Stop it. The expectations of Ben Simmons was fairly higher than this. I do believe that it's always unfair for 18-year-olds to get the label of LeBron James and Kobe Bryant and the best of the best. That's a little high, but this is way too low. What we're settling for here. Now, I brought up Rich Paul. Jason Dumas was the one that brought up last night that Rich Paul would like to get out Tyrese Maxey as well out of Philadelphia. Well, he updates that. He tweets this out. Update. Look how structured and sound this sounds. I mean, it's like perfectly executed as if there was a game plan with the message here. Tyrese Maxey is excited about this upcoming year with the Sixers, as is Rich Paul and the 76ers. Paul does not want Tyrese out of Philly. However, the Ben Simmons situation is totally separate. You're covering up your holes. You're covering up your flaws. Now, quite frankly, it would be malpractice, I believe, if Rich Paul was to, let's think about this. If Ben Simmons was to leave because he was unhappy, and Rich Paul is his agent, and Tyrese Maxey is now going to be your starting point guard at what age? He's going to now have an opportunity to grow into his own brand, his own player, his own point guard. Like, this is an opportunity now for one of his clients to log 30, 35 minutes a night in the NBA and be your primary point guard. Why would you take that opportunity away from a 20-year-old kid? What they're probably doing is thinking the long-term game. See, I don't believe this report. He was told to release this because, probably Rich Paul, this information shouldn't have been leaked, and Rich Paul does see this as something for Tyrese Maxey with the long-term the long-term thought of, we'll get you out of here in a few years. We'll get you out of here in a couple years, build your stock, build who you are, show the league you can ball out, and then possibly we'll head in another direction later. But you got to remember, you're a young kid, you're 19, 20 years old, coming out of Kentucky, and you're linked with one of the most powerful agents in basketball. I'm sure there's some behind-the-scenes yapping going on in his ear, considering we know the relationship between the 76ers and now Rich Paul. It is not good whatsoever. So let me throw this question out there. I guess I really have two. One of them was on Jimmy Butler, and back then you probably should have just stood with Jimmy Butler and fired Brett Brown and traded Ben Simmons after that series with the Toronto Raptors. You can't do that. Come on. Come on now. You're telling me after Game 7, when you lose a heartbreaker because of some crazy, wild, good 7-game series of basketball against the Toronto Raptors, and you lose in this wild, epic way, that you're going to ship out your head coach, ship out your very young point guard that at that time you had more faith that there would be some development involved for Jimmy Butler, who I like his attitude and I like his swag. Obviously, he brings that type of, like that dog to the courts every single day. He's not that great to start blowing up your entire franchise. He's not Kevin Durant. He's not Damian Lillard. He's not Anthony Davis. He's not LeBron James. Jimmy Butler, he's a good player, but come on now. He's not an elite player. He's not a superstar player. He's a good player. And at the time, you don't start blowing up Everett for Jimmy Butler. Come on. I like Jimmy. I do. And also don't tell me that bubble series and that bubble run, I'm not giving it enough value. I'm not valuing that enough. Stop it. I'm valuing it just fine. You were given the circumstances you were due to a global pandemic, and I'm not going to hold that against any player because you had to go in there and leave your family, go play hard in an area where there's no fans involved. I mean, it's not easy. No one knew what was going on at that time. Not that it seems like anybody has a damn idea on what's happening now either. You got there. You're right. But I can't just forget the context either. So with this Jimmy Butler stuff, yeah, he was right about the softness. He was right about that. But it's not Brett Brown. So that's an organizational thing. The way Doc Rivers handled him, the way Joshua Harris and David Blitzer, and just the way it was forced upon the organization on how to handle him. I also wonder, a little bit of me wonders, because you just saw this with the Mets, right? And the whole thumbs down thing with Javier Baez, Francisco Lindor. Knowing that these athletes, one, social media is so massive now compared to years past. Two, the athletes are becoming this new era of people that are in the softer society. So because, you don't want to offend anybody and you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings in today's world, these athletes just don't handle it the same way, where we are transitioning in the sports world from that angle too. I think that's a big part of it, but not shooting a basketball is no excuse. I mean, we are literally telling ourselves, or like we're brainwashed now and saying, we got to be softer on these people, while there's a professional basketball player who, wait for it, isn't shooting a basketball, please. And that's what Ben's trying to make you do. He's trying to brainwash you, spin it another way. It's the Sixers' fault. It's Brett Brown's fault. It's Joel Embiid's fault. I did my job. I defended. No. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's just that simple. It's your fault. And that's where I have the biggest problem of not admitting it and not just saying, yep, you're right. I got an issue here, and I'm willing to get better. I'm willing to work at it. All right, here's the other question. Did Daryl Morey play this the wrong way? And I'm still going to say no. Because, he's asking for a king's ransom. I got you. That's how this works, though, when you play with the big stars. That's what you do. I always claim that if you swing and miss on a Portland Trail Blazers trade for Damian Lillard, you're probably always, so when they denied Malcolm Brogdon and they denied some of these other trade offers that were there, I always claim that you can find those trades. It might not specifically be Malcolm Brogdon, but the Buddy Hields, the Colin Sextons, the D'Angelo Russells with the Minnesota offer. You'll find those. If you can't get Dame, those will always be there because of the potential of Ben Simmons is still going to be higher than a Sexton, a Brogdon, and those type of players. That's just reality. So here we are. you would have given up, Ben. Say, oh, just get rid of him. I don't care what you get. It's time to just move on and accept the fact that you won't get Dame. Okay, well, then you're still getting the same player anyway. You're just doing it a couple months later with a possible opportunity of grabbing Dame. I don't personally have an issue with it to this point. I haven't seen anything so embarrassing and so pathetic. Yeah, he's asking for a lot. Absolutely. He knows he's not getting 4 first-rounders. He knows he's not getting a superstar talent and 5 first-rounders in return. But he's also not going to give him up for a bag of basketballs. But I also don't believe the best thing for your franchise is to go into next season with this looming over your head, with a dark cloud following you as you move. That's why you do have to trade him during training camp, and you don't bring him back and fine him, and now it's background noise, even though it's not background noise, it's in front noise. The background noise is going to be the actual basketball side of things, and that can't happen. So, this is where Daryl Morey and Rich Paul are playing a game of chicken. See, where I am mentally preparing is about the heading into next season expectations. The expectations are going to have to be simmered down, and it's just reality. We can't lie to ourselves and pretend, well, you have Joel, maybe you can go win a championship with Tobias and Joel. No, you need a number 2. You need a 1A, 1B. You need Joel to be the 1A and someone to be the 1B. You can't be Joel, Tobias, and then your third player in D'Angelo, or if D'Angelo Russell is your number 2 player and Tobias is your third, that's not a strong enough set, if that's the case. But that's kind of the route that you're looking at. You're looking at those style of players, and you can't just hold on for Ben. It's so easy in theory to just say, just don't give him what he wants, and you bench him and you fine his ass. Yeah, but then you have 35,000 reporters in your face every day, and that's the talk every single day. It creates drama, creates toxic environments, and you're trying to focus on the game of basketball and where this team is headed, where this franchise is headed. So it's going to be a tough decision for Daryl Morey. And the thing is, some of these players, D'Angelo Russell and Buddy Hield, they have a cap on what they can be. That's why you felt differently for the whole, who cares if you're going to think about losing in the second or the first round? Because you were doing that anyway with Ben Simmons. You're right, but there was this narrative and this concept of Ben Simmons has another layer. Buddy Hield doesn't have another layer. He's who he is. He's a three-point spacer who can space out the floor with some good three-point shooting. D'Angelo Russell, he's only 24, 25 years old, so there is an element of taking the next step, but his ceiling is nowhere close to where Ben Simmons' ceiling was. That was the difference with when you were playing with Ben. And while you're a second-round exit team anyway, yeah, with the potential to take that next leap because, someone has determination inside of them to become better. Also, though, playing 5-on-5 puts you in an advantage compared to playing 4-on-5. So how about that? Does that alone make it not as bad of a drop-off skill potential-wise? Because that's another thing I was hearing today. Ben Simmons is not as good as what you think, so stop pretending you're going to get a lot for him. Part of the trade in general when you're working with younger players is what they can be. It's not just about the what now. Oh, well, right now this is what he is, so that's what you have to think about. No, that's what you're dealing with here. That's what it's like when you're playing around with trading somebody who's in their lower 20s and who's 21, 22, 23, 24. What can they be at 29? What could they be at 30? What could they be at 31? What could they be in the prime of their NBA career as a grown man's league? That's part of what you're trading for, the developmental side of things. It's not just about the what now. And believe it or not, Ben is always going to have that skill, at least for the little bit of time here, of what if, and enough what if. That tells you about his ceiling, really, if it ever does get untapped, is people can watch him play over the last handful of seasons and would still be willing to pounce and would still be willing to see what he could do for their franchise, even with that disgusting brand of basketball. Crazy, isn't it? What else is crazy is DraftKings Sportsbook with all their fantastic odds. The NFL is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving all new players a can't-miss offer for Week 1. Bet just $1 in any NFL game during the first week of the season and receive $200 in free bets instantly, no matter what. Take advantage of this limited-time offer right now. You heard right. DraftKings is giving all new players $200 in free bets instantly when you place a bet of $1 or more on any Week 1 game. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use promo code Brodes to receive $200 in free bets when you place a $1 bet on any Week 1 game. That's promo code Brodes to get your free $200 in free bets instantly for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, so you know the drill. Let's fly on over to the Anytime Hotline to hear the reactions. It's been a crazy sports day. It's been a crazy reactionary day in Sixers land and in general in Philadelphia sports land. So I can only imagine that based off of what I heard last night, what I heard today, what I heard this afternoon, what I heard tonight is basically going to be shown throughout the voices of the people. Okay, here we go.
What's up, Brodes? Calling in to respond to this Ben Simmons news that he's not going to be showing up to training camp. Okay, fine. At this point, the Sixers just need to move on from him. Get what you can. We're not going to get Damian Lillard. That's not happening. We can't hold out all season long for that. Ben Simmons obviously wants to turn this into a toxic situation. The Sixers need to move on. As fans, we just need to get over this guy. He's never going to change. He said as much at the end of the playoffs in the press conference. He said he is who he is. I believe that he is who he is, which is a piece of shit. Fuck you, Simmons. Peace.
Okay, it got a little harsh there. I didn't expect it to take that turn. I'm not going to lie. Maybe that's the side of Joel Embiid that he was talking about. With all due respect, hey, Phillies fans, be a little bit better. There's always some things that cross the line and whatnot. Look, I understand. I'm not saying that this was the most egregious thing ever to say those type of words towards Ben Simmons on a podcast recording while you're calling into a show. There's a lot worse that could be done. But that just makes me wonder, though, because you brought up a point about – sorry, I'm losing my track of mind looking for it. You brought up a point about Ben Simmons saying he is what he is. Okay, this is Ben Simmons 2 years ago talking about, well, himself.
Ben, you said you wanted to take your game forward. How much do you think taking more jump shots or even taking shots from the perimeter is important to improving your game?
It's important. It's very important.
How are you going to work on it?
Repetition.
Okay. Has that happened this year? And it doesn't. You took 5 shots last night. Do you think in this situation with this team and who you are, you need more than 5 shots and some of them have to be from the perimeter?
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
How am I going to do what?
Shoot more from the perimeter. You know, the coach, Brett Brown, said during the season, Ben, take more shots.
Yeah.
And I think you took one after he said it. I think you took a 3. And you didn't make any big deal of it. You just said you did it. Do you think with the coach wanting you to do that, that you also?
I think it's just making a point of emphasis in terms of just being more aggressive. I don't think it's just taking shots just to take them. I think it's just being aggressive and doing my job. So I don't think it's any certain shot. But when you give me the ball, I'm able to make plays.
When you came and you said, I'm not just going to start jacking up threes. But the idea of expanding your game is, obviously we've talked about it since you've been here. Do you expect to come in at training camp next season and think that you will be expanding your game more than you did this season?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so painful to hear just him. This is from 2 years ago talking about just it's crazy, right? Like, it's honestly absolutely wild and stunning to me that this has somehow turned into more than this individual is just not becoming a good enough basketball player with his skill set, and he's not developing, and he's holding this entire franchise and city back because of it. Yet somehow this whole narrative is getting shifted towards the Sixers fans are clueless and the Sixers fans don't know what they're talking about. Ben Simmons does not shoot a basketball. He doesn't shoot a basketball. Now, part of this Joel Embiid thing on Twitter, I wonder if this is damage control. Things got ugly. Things were getting brutal. Joel Embiid gets a phone call, and it's, hey, say that you love playing with Ben Simmons. Say that you want to run it back with Ben. Just say some positivity about Ben because, we're in a leverage spot here. If people feel that Joel Embiid loves playing with Ben, there's no problem with Ben. We're playing the cat and mouse game. We need everything in our power, Joel, to get somebody back in return that you could play with on a serious enough level where you don't need to think about as much of a step back in terms of competition, in terms of the Eastern Conference. So throw something out there on Twitter. Steer it in another direction. I truly believe that there was a part of that in there, for sure. 1,000%. Damage control. This is the type of nonsense, though, that eats me alive at night. We talk about unaware. We talk about how he doesn't fully understand. And it makes it harder because it feels impossible. It feels if you're any human being with a pea-sized brain, you could see and witness what's happening. Now, some might fight back on that theory. Brodes, he does know. He doesn't want to be mocked. He doesn't want to be embarrassed. If he fails, he's afraid to fail, basically, is the message. He's afraid to fail because if he wasn't, he'd take all the shots. But he knows if he doesn't make the shot, he doesn't feel confident in the shot, he doesn't feel comfortable in rhythm taking the shot, well, then it gets made fun of on social media. There's videos all over the world. That's what it is. But does he not realize the more and more you do it, there's going to be too much of a sample size? There's going to be too many shots. If you airball 3 shots, but you're taking 80, 90 shots, at some point those airballs just become what it is. Giannis doesn't have an issue whenever there's an airball free throw involved, which guess what? Happens way too damn often. But what does he do the next time down the floor? He attacks the rim, he gets fouled. Ben, you just said it yourself in that cut about talking aggressiveness, about talking basketball and being aggressive with the basketball. Just be aggressive. Well, you're not even doing that. You're not even being assertive there. It's crazy. It's wild the type of rise that his tone and his demeanor and this whole entire conversation really does give us because it's one of a kind. I was talking to Mike Kay of NJ.com. He covers the Eagles. And we were talking a little bit, and what he brought up was it's crazy to think that someone overpowered that Carson Wentz debacle because that Carson Wentz one was pretty damn ugly too. And that's not a fan thing. That's what is so hard to digest. Oh, the fans, it's so tough. Look at Fultz. Look at Wentz. Look at Ben. Carson Wentz had a problem with Howie Roseman. Carson Wentz had a problem with the way the organization was ran. That's where everything got disconnected. That's where everything got painful and brutal from a Carson Wentz angle. And it went in the direction it did because of the turmoil involved with the franchise, not the fans. Ben Simmons, well, apparently there's been issues with the way he's been developed, according to Derek Brassard. So does he feel that way? Is that where it stems with when it comes to Ben Simmons feeling backstabbed because of Doc Rivers? That's just soft, though. It really is. All right, what's next?
Hey, yo, bros. Yeah, I'm calling up about this Ben Simmons thing, man. Ben Simmons, man, listen. I don't understand why he acting like a girl, but I kind of understand why he acting like that because of Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers. Both of them threw him under the bus. Like, they shouldn't have did that as leaders. Like, I kind of read that being a Philadelphian, that you don't do nothing like that. All season long, Doc Rivers was saving Ben and pumping Ben the whole time. And then as soon as we lost the whole thing, then he put him right under the bus. So all year, Embiid was talking about how he got it, he learned, and he loved Doc Rivers, and he liked the spacing, and he learned how to pass the ball. And as soon as we lost, he put it right on Ben. Even though Ben deserved it, but at the end of the day, though, you don't supposed to go public and do that. Be a man. Tell him behind closed doors. But at the end of the day, Ben was definitely out there garbage, and he definitely need to stop acting like a girl on some real stuff, like real rat.
So I don't know if I necessarily agree with you with the Doc Rivers thing. I have no problem with that. Everyone wants accountability. Brett Brown didn't give Ben Simmons the accountability we were looking for, yada, yada, yada. Now here's Doc Rivers giving you some accountability after Well, there was a garbage performance by your point guard, and it's too much. See, where are we drawing the line here?
Doc, do you think Ben Simmons can still be a point guard for a championship team like the one you guys want to become?
Yeah, David, I don't know that question or the answer to that right now. So I don't know the answer to that.
I don't have an issue at all with what Doc Rivers just said. Look, earlier in the season, he went the complete opposite way. You're right. And then we all said, Doc, what are you doing, dude? Stop being ridiculous. Stop being pathetic. You're wrong. You're just lying. You're flat out not assessing the team properly, and you're giving us vomit out of your mouth. Be honest. So now he's being honest, and now we're upset that he's going in that direction. Here's what I wish changed in this scenario. Instead of Ben Simmons saying, I am what I am, it is what it is, why doesn't he go down this road? Well, we know why. He doesn't have it built within him. But I would do this. You know what? Doc is right. I did not play good enough to answer that question with, yes, he can. So I'll prove it. So I'll make sure I do everything in my power to become the best point guard I can be over this offseason. I'll have to show my coach, and I'm willing to look at that as an opportunity. How about going down that road? So you're basically acknowledging there is an issue here. It wasn't smooth from my angle, and I need to change the way that I approach the game right now because it's not good enough. My coach doesn't believe in me? All right. We'll assess this, and I'll have to prove it to him. I'll prove it to him. I will show him by coming back next year as a new player, as a new version of myself, with added bonuses to my game. Shouldn't even be an added bonus. This should be a standard set shooting a basketball. But you understand my point here on the approach by Ben. Stop worrying about how Doc and Joel treated it because all they did was they told you the honest truth. And that dates back to like Joel. I actually give him credit because he was honest with us over Twitter. I don't agree with him. But when you're in this community of the NBA, it's rare, right? It's not something that everybody can do, be in the NBA. So it's always players versus fans, players union versus owners, players versus media. It's just the nature of the beast. So that angle is always going to be there. If you were an athlete, you probably would feel a certain way about fans in general, about the media, and about the ownership groups. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. It really is. I give him credit for being honest. I don't agree. I also feel, though, there's a game being played. This can help out the front office a bit. I want to play with Ben Simmons. I'd run it back to not make the storyline so hectic. Well, Joel is claiming he'd be fine. The media is making up nonsense. Although he was referencing, see, this is the problem. There's an idiot caller on both stations here in Philadelphia, Mike from King Oppression. All he does is just bash everything, but horrendously in an irrational way. And there was a tweet surfacing the Twitter sphere back from 2020 that Joel Embiid retweeted, and he talked about how, get him out of here, he's fat, he's a bum, nobody needs him. And Joel saying all these people are making up these fake storylines. Yeah, the 0.01% like Mike from King Oppression, who's a moron, he doesn't count. So if that's what you're using to define the entire city, well, that's unfair. How many people is calling Joel Embiid fat and a bum? Very, 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 very small percentage. There's a game being played by people who operate with the Sixers. Joel, talk some positive stuff here because it can't hurt. That's for damn sure. Crazy, though. Crazy that we're here September 1st, 2021, screaming about Ben Simmons still and the fact that the basketball doesn't leave his fingertips in a fluid motion and hit the net. As an NBA basketball player getting $30 million. But, hey, what do I know? All right, I want to thank everyone so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and I will see you next time.